920 94.5 WTAW.
We visit with the folks from the city of Bryan on Thursdays and occasionally a city council member. Today we have the city council member for the entire city. It's Kevin Boriskie, who's at large. How you doing this morning, Kevin?
Good morning, Scott. Thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
Yeah, and again, you're the city council person who they're liable to be a long way away from where you normally spend your time or whatever, but they've got questions, and you're one of the people who they ask. And so we can probably pick different areas of the city that are important as far as we're concerned. I do want to talk first of all about Relis, because y'all have put together a new investment zone out there.
Yes.
Tell us about that a little bit.
Yeah, so at City Council this week, we basically approved creating the Relis Reinvestment Zone number 2. So this is very exciting news. With the city is partnered with Texas A&M, working with the county, with the Board of Regents, and there's a lot going on at Relis, a lot of investment there, and we're just very happy to be able to partner with them to try and help assist and attract companies to locate here, which at the end of the day, it's really about, creating more jobs, higher paying jobs, and just bringing some of that economy here. And we feel we really need to be on the forefront of that. And this is somewhat the fuel to get that done through offering some of these reinvestment zones. And there's a lot of great stuff coming.
So explain for listeners who might not understand this development plan that is a reinvestment zone. What is the purpose of it and how do you draw it up?
So the purpose of that is that for companies coming in, it helps them with some of the financing to get these large projects done. And it's really through the form of being able to offer like an ad valorem tax rebate, somewhat similar to reinvestment zone number 1 that we had set up. So it's just another financing tool to help these companies come in, get established, and bring all the growth with it.
Because you don't necessarily have the taxable things going on out there now, and so everything that happens there, the money basically stays there?
Correct. It does for certain, and it depends on how that's structured. I think the first one that we did was structured over 10 years, and that particular project was estimated to be a $10 billion project over 10 years. So yes, it's a great tool, and we're very, very fortunate to have Texas A&M in our backyard and as a partner working with them to help bring some of these high-tech companies to our community.
So a high-tech company, so you want that, but there are ancillary and support things that you need to see out there. If you're going to have more rooftops, then you're going to have other things. What is your view about the next step as to what needs to happen? Not necessarily for the city to do, but what else does that area need to look like 5 years from now for it to be able to grow and really maximize this effort?
Yes, and I think that's the challenge that we have, right? We know that we're in the middle of the Texas Triangle, and then you have the triangle inside of that, and we sit right in the middle of that. So we know the growth's coming. I think it's just really how do we have smart growth to be able to not only attract these companies and that growth, but to be able to maintain it into the future. So with that, you're talking infrastructure needs. We have to have that. We have to have water. We have to have power. And those are some of the things that companies coming in look to see that we have and that we can plan to create that. Also with that, it brings up housing. We have to have places for, people to live in our community. When we have some of these big companies looking here, they need to make sure that we have places for our folks to live. So I think in and around Relis, around that whole west corridor, that's what you'll see. You'll see high-tech companies coming in, and with that, all the answer, the other companies that come along with that, and we're going to have the need for infrastructure and housing and places to shop for everyone.
And now there's a bunch of new land that's available. Is it the west side? Is that what I would be saying? That's as you go down Highway 21, there's more room now that Relis is going to have to expand, and again, more things that are going to be out there and available. One of the things that yesterday, the governor, I was just talking to Paul Dyson a couple of minutes ago, one of the things the governor announced yesterday was a $50 million grant, I think, from the governor's office having to do with a chip facility. We haven't heard anything about a chip facility in Bryan, and I think we're kind of waiting. Is there any indication as to when Bryan's going to be called up and said, hey, we've got a chip facility coming here?
Yeah. That's one topic that we're, as council, we're still under NDA with that, but I know there's been a lot about that out in the news, so I can share with what you read in the papers, and I think there was something in there yesterday about that in conjunction with Relis. But hopefully that's still on the table, and we'll hear something soon.
Is there any talk? Councilman Edge was in last week, and I was asking him about this. Trump administration with DOGE is making cuts in all sorts of different projects. Is that going to slow down anything that might be headed this way?
I don't know if that'll slow down anything that, we currently have on the table that we're looking at. I know a lot of people are getting worried about that, but as far as what we have and what we see right now, it's too early to predict that, but I don't see any issues with the particular projects we're talking about.
Kevin Boriskie is here this morning. He's the at-large member of the Bryan City Council. Extraterritorial jurisdiction is something that's over in Austin. We don't know exactly how that's going to play out, but with that in mind, a development out in Steep Hollow is a group that wants to be part of Bryan. Mm-hmm. Tell us about that.
Yeah, so that is, I think you're talking about the Stella Ranch development. So that is one that was outside of the ETJ or outside of the city limits in the ETJ. And, they've been working with the city for quite a while now. And, that is definitely getting closer to fruition. I know that the infrastructure is approved, and that's contingent upon future annexation. So that will be annexed, and that will be another community on that east side of town for residents to live.
As one member of council, what kind of housing is the hottest thing that Bryan could plug into now? We talked about in years past, Frank Clark had come up with an idea that really made it easier for home builders to find ways to build homes in Bryan rather than College Station. Single-family permits were ahead in Bryan for several years. I don't know that they're still the case. What, as one member of council, do you think housing needs to look like for Bryan to be able to be ready for the folks who we want moving in here?
Yeah, so housing is a challenge, not only in our city, but also the state and also the country. I think, like I mentioned earlier, we have to have, as a city and as a community, we have to have housing options for everyone. When companies, again, are coming here, they want to make sure that we have places for our citizens to live. Having said that, I think in a perfect world, we really need a mix of all housing options and not skewed so much just towards entry or opening price point home versus a higher end home. We really need a good mix because we have that diversity in our community and coming to our community. Now, having said that, the affordability comes into that. I don't really like the term affordable housing because I think it's subjective. I think it's what do we do to create attainable housing for people, but still maintain, communities that have integrity of the neighborhood where the homeowners can take a lot of pride in that, not only when they purchase their home, but in the future. So I think that's a balancing act of what we need, but I think we need a diverse mix.
Sure. And I suppose now, any other inducements? Do we need to be doing something else for builders who would come in and do that?
Yeah, that's something that we're taking a look at. I mean, we've had those programs before to entice people to come in and build, certain square footage size homes. So, that's definitely something to take a look at. I don't think there's really anything off the table. It just becomes a challenge, as you know, that, land cost goes up, building materials go up, labor goes up. So it's just really, what is the best way to work with everyone to take all those factors into consideration and be able to put something on the ground that people can be happy with.
Sure. Strategic planning is something that a city council is expected to do. I think College Station is in or have just completed a retreat where they discuss that strategic planning. How does the city of Bryan handle that?
Yeah, so we talk quite a bit. We have quite a few meetings as well. I think we're trying to get a retreat on the books sometime this year. And, it is good to be able to get everybody to come in and hear from the, different departments and just kind of a rundown of everything that's going on and plan a little bit. I know we have a lot of internal communication like that, but I think it's a great idea to do that just to kind of catch everybody up and get everybody on the same page.
Sure. Anything else for us this morning?
We have a lot going on in the community. We're in a really good spot that we do have that much going on. I know this weekend tomorrow's Friday already. We got the Maroon and White night tomorrow night. Still have Farmers Market on Saturday. So, a lot of great things going on in the city, and just stay warm.
Yeah, do that. Kevin Boriskie from the city of Bryan, thanks for the time this morning.
All right, thank you.
Yeah.
We all enjoy good old-fashioned customer service. Pioneer Steel understands